But there's something here that I wanted to share that there's so many different levels of meditation. People think that you have to sit there in a chair and just close your eyes and breathe.
Mm-hmm.
You can meditate while you're cleaning. You can meditate while you're
Mm-hmm.
standing. You can
Mm-hmm.
meditate while you're speaking to
Uh-huh.
someone. Everything, meditation's all around you.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't necessarily, I don't want to scare people to think that that's the only level of meditate. You can meditate however fits. Like I remember when I first started meditating about, I would say like 10 years ago, I would look at a rose and I would, because I
That's a
found
good technique.
it's a very good, and I found this
Uh-huh.
technique from a book I read called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Have you read that book?
No, I haven't.
So that book is, and my personal experience is the reason why I do what I do today. But I have so many notes in that book, and one of the monks in the book teaches the attorney who's, the story is all about this really famous like billionaire attorney who just women, cars, just flashy life in New York, just drops everything and goes to Tibet and becomes a monk. And it's his story of why that happened to him and why he got there. But the story was teaching you how you can just stare in a rose and look at the petals and just focus on each petal with your breath. And it's fascinating how it's teaching you not to think of anything.
Of course, you are concentrating on one thing.
One thing. And that technique I still have. I have fresh flowers in my house all the time, particularly in my bedroom, there's a rose. And when I'm in a funky place, I take the rose and I sit on the floor and I just look. I don't close my eyes or anything. I just stare in the petals, and it is such a liberating, calming feeling.
It just, that silence, that solitude.
Yeah. It's special.
It's very special. Yes, that's one thing we should do in our daily life as well, in the mornings especially, to have that calm, peaceful energy which will go throughout the day, to just find that moments of stillness, that moments of solitude, and just be with ourselves, because at that moment you are just with yourself, right? And that's so important.
Yeah.
You just don't listen. Sometimes you don't even need to listen any music or any podcast, anything. There is walking meditation as well. You just walk and you notice every single thing around you, every flower, every leaf of the tree, every noise, and not to listen to any music or any podcast, anything. You just be with all that around you. And I know that you bake sourdough bread as well, right? I do too. So that's another type of meditation.
I love that.
When you do that, that's so calming, so peaceful. So I think you should not have just one thing.
That's right.
Which keep you, in your present moment.
Yeah.
You should have a lot of things during the day.
I
Even
think
washing
women
the
meditate.
dishes.
That's right. It's a form of meditation.
Yeah.
I think women are meditating. They don't even know it.
Yeah.
When I was doing my practicum hours in therapy school, I worked in an eating disorder unit. It's called Reasons. And I finished my 3,000 hours there. And I was working in the inpatient department, which is the most crucial. It's very difficult. So I was a therapist there, and I led group classes of like 25, 30, sometimes 40 men, women, kids. And so I was thinking about how I could get them to eat, because that's your goal, right? When you're working with human beings that are under 100 pounds, your goal is to keep them alive and to have them eat and not be afraid of food. So I was like, let me pick an orange. And since I love meditating with a rose, let me help my clients, the ones that are assigned to me during group, let's meditate with an orange. And guess what we did? It's pure silence. We started peeling the orange, and we just started talking about where this orange came from, where it traveled from. So that took their mind off the fear of eating that orange.
Of course,
okay?
Yeah.
And then we cut the orange with our hands, okay?
And
we put it,
right?
and then smell it. It's mindfulness. It's mindful technique.
Yeah.
Some people got triggered by the smell of the orange. Some people didn't. But then we put the orange in our mouth, and then we bite the orange, and then the water splashed into your mouth, and we would talk about the water splashing and how many months it took for this orange to grow. So that is a deep level of meditation that you're teaching people. That's
a beautiful mindfulness
it
practice.
It is, and it's so simple. But the whole idea, I think essentially where, I don't know if you agree, but where women can start is just really noticing the items they have in their house.
Yes, it's
I
very
think it's
important too.
important.
As you told that, I remember that in my previous workshop, the theme was mindful and healthy eating. And what I did, I brought fruits, and each one should pick one fruit and then bite it, smell it, feel it,
Oh
and
my gosh.
write down about that. There was a beautiful mindfulness practice that we did, and then
Yeah.
to draw how that fruit came, like who was the farmer, like where it came from. And I was like teaching that in
Yeah.
order to start, eating mindfully, to not eat emotionally, or
Yeah,
the eating,
fast.
yes, fast and everything. You should just take it really slow, and to feel the smell, to feel the taste and everything. So yeah, that's a beautiful mindfulness practice
I
as
think so
well.
too. I think that
Yeah.
it's very important
And
to
it
be
keeps you to
aware.
be present, not to do everything in a rush.
Yeah.